In a forgotten corner of the Himalaya, a simple fallback route led us into a world of shifting glaciers, false maps, and a mountain that refused to be found.
Hey, glad you're here. Welcome to the Himalayan Journals. Here on this channel, we bring to you real stories from century old field notes. We try to keep it simple and calm here. Think of it as a documented history of the Himalayas from the early 1900s, covering stories of indigenous wisdom, epic expeditions, and groundbreaking science passed on just as they were recorded. Subscribe, zone out, binge.
When Ludwig Krennic and I first planned our Himalayan journey in 1946, the Padar region was never our first choice. It was our third, an afterthought, a fallback in case the more ambitious plans did not gain official approval. They did not, and soon we found ourselves in Machail, joined by Fabian Geduldig. Machail stood as the last village in the Butte Valley, which branched off the Chenab Valley at Atholi. The land around it, known as Padar, formed part of Kishtwar, green, mountainous, and full of promise. With a young porter named Gangaram, we set out almost at once to climb Agyasol, 20,141 feet high. The aim was simple, to see the country and plan our work. That night, we slept in a deserted shepherd's hut, 2 rooms under a roof of old beams and pine. We took the better one, leaving the other for Gangaram, but he refused and slept beside us. In the middle of the night, a heavy crash shook us awake. The roof of the other room had fallen in. His stubbornness had saved his life. The next day, the 30th of May, dawned bright and clear. We climbed as far as the sharp ridges of Agyasol would allow, enough to glimpse the country beyond. What we saw convinced us that our so-called third choice was more than worthy. The great peaks of Brahma, Shivji Ka Pahar, and others towered around us. Our main goal was a magnificent twin peak of 21,570 feet, crowned with enormous icicles. We named it Monselberg, the moon-sickle mountain. From the Bazun Nadi, a tributary valley, we believed we could reach its base, and a broad meadow of lilies became our perfect camp. For days, we explored the valleys, climbing ridges and glaciers, sketching what maps could not show. Yet the more we discovered, the more confused we became. The great mountain we sought seemed to vanish among the clouds and the folds of the land. Sheet 52C, the only map we had, felt more like guesswork than geography. Still, on the West Donali Glacier, we climbed a fine peak, Drakant, or Fabian's Peak, 19,200 feet high. It was steep and dangerous with overhanging cornices of ice, but we reached the summit. Clouds drifted among the high pillars of the Himalaya. Below, vast sheets of ice gleamed green in the sun. From that height, we finally sighted the Monselberg again, hidden among 4 other peaks. The eastern side held a great glacier flowing north, which Krennic believed was part of the East Donali system. He was sure that by following it around, we could approach the mountain's base. I doubted it, but agreed to try. Then the weather turned. For days, storms buried our tent on the West Donali Glacier. We beat off snow every few hours and prayed not to be swept away. When the storm cleared on the 15th of June, spring seemed to return, but the snow was bottomless. Each step sank us to the hips. Through exhaustion and doubt, we reached the foot of a steep tributary glacier, but found only a granite wall, smooth and unclimbable. The path to the peak was closed. We moved eastward to another glacier, searching for routes and passes. Each day brought discovery and disappointment. On the 19th of June, a new pass offered hope, and 2 days later, we climbed a nearby mountain, Sonnenwendspitze, the midsummer peak. 19,000 feet high from its summit, the panorama stretched wide, Nun and Kuhn in the distance, the Barnage peaks shining in the sun, and our own Dreikant below. But the Monselberg remained remote, unreachable, perhaps for another expedition. We lacked Sherpa porters, so every load we carried ourselves, our servants Gangaram and Shivdyal, went only a short distance beyond base camp. By then, we had realized that much of the region's map was wrong. The Prul Glacier Basin was larger by 70 square miles, and the highest mountain, P 21,570, was not linked to the main divide. A council of war followed. Only one high mountain near camp seemed possible, but Krenek felt no desire to attempt it. I suggested exploring the old deserted road to Zanskar or climbing Agyasol once more. He chose Zanskar. With food for a week and little equipment, we started from Machail, carrying everything ourselves. The journey was full of wrong turns and uncertain passes. Local information was unreliable, and even the maps failed us. We reached one ridge after another, only to find valleys looping back on themselves. But we pressed on, camping among rocks and snow, cooking over a tin stove filled with solid spirit. At last, we stood before a vast glacier system, draining to the Darlang Valley. The surveyor's work had been wrong again. Zanskar lay far beyond, behind more snow basins and ridges. We tried for one northern pass that might lead there, but were stopped by a steep ice wall. With only one ice axe and no rope, the descent was impossible. We turned back, weary and disappointed. The descent to the Darlang Valley was long and brutal. Through slush and ice, we stumbled down until we reached a sandy plain, too tired even to cook. In the morning, we followed animal tracks to a birch grove beside the river. A herdsman confirmed what we already knew. This was the Darlang Valley. Still, we refused to give up. We crossed the valley, searching for the Potla route to Zanskar. Storms swept in, snow and rain together. Just when we thought the way was lost, 8 Zanskaris appeared out of the mist, descending the glacier. They showed us the real pass, 2 saddles close together on the eastern wall. Next day, in deep snow and poor light, we found their footprints, the cairns marking the summit. Wind and mist tore at us, but by afternoon, we crossed into Zanskar. By nightfall, we reached the Sarap Valley and pitched our tent. That evening, we had hot tea, warm food, and quiet satisfaction. We had not climbed the Monselberg, but we had crossed a land few had seen and mapped what others had guessed. For us, Zanskar was Tibet enough, our third choice, but one that gave us everything we came to find.